is controlled by our selfishness, that is, by the secular man.
Of course, trying to filter out any information that could shatter our selfishness.
What do we mean by our identity? And what is selfishness? It's like a tangled ball of our some spiritual ideas of constant daydreams. Those, like such a parasitic activity, constantly swirling around us, creating a certain illusion that this is us, that this is our identity.
Our perception mechanism is being hijacked. The old man, who is already filtering out the spiritual information that he believes could destroy us. Therefore, the old man is willing to dismiss any spiritual information, any guidance, any prayer practices, except this one, because, as soon as he allows this secret practice, it's a blow to the very heart of egoism. Serious, insightful.
Therefore, no matter how much effort we put in, no matter how cleverly we immerse ourselves in understanding spiritual books, and no matter how many quotes we extract and systematize, our egoism will still filter out any information that would lead us to this secret practice. Seriousness, resignation.
Here.
You can only catch him.
In the presence of the living, that is, being in communion with a living elder, formal, respectful.
And let me show you exactly how it's done, right before your eyes.
If you are expecting a logical discussion of the material with a specific conclusion, seriousness, anticipation.
Nível de emoção, frustração, translation. Then you will waste time, because these things are very subtle and intuitive. You can't just logically express them in a way that is coherent and clear. They must be felt or grasped.
So I will approach it from a distance. Distant.
And I'll tell you a little bit about myself.
Excitement. When I first entered monasticism, two particular events that occurred in the early days of my monastic life turned out to be crucial guiding lights for me.
The first instance was related to such a crucial understanding of what, in general, serious thoughtful. At the hearing, my boss.
He was a man, how can I put it well? You probably know. So, when a person tries to achieve some kind of position, he digs the earth. Here it was, just like that. We became friends because he was a very kind, gentle person who drew me in. I once sincerely said to him, "Listen, why do you dig the earth? Haven't we come here to pray, to submit ourselves?" Earnestness.
What did he not reply to? Completely unexpected. You're supposed to be a scientist, yet you don't understand anything about life. Frustration. For the first 5 years, you work for others. The remaining time, others are working for you. I was, of course, stunned by this response. He helped me understand that people come to the monastery with completely different motivations, and that motivation can stay with them for their whole life. It could be a spark from the outside world, and then carried through their monastic life.
I have formulated a very important definition of monasticism for myself. Monasticism is a kind of replica of the world.
So it's like a mold that absorbs all the sins, and the sins of this world.
After the case, I will change my clothes. Monks change nothing in themselves, except for immoderate selfishness and self-conceit about how they have become completely different, seriousness, disbelief. But in reality, it will take many years of struggle and heroic deeds for those who dare to embark on this path, determined. It turns out only a few frustration hope, because it still needs to be found when stumbled upon. We then walk through it, through pain and through suffering, determinative.
It's not easy at all. When I asked if it was true, He replied to me correctly, because just imagine, even an ancient scripture is being twisted, the very foundational books of our asceticism. Seriousness, admiration. Already from them, one can understand that those who grasped the essence of monastic life were rare in general. In a monastery, it could be just one person. There are constantly described such cases when such individuals were both insulted and praised in the monastery, and even beaten. It didn't seem abnormal to anyone. It's all just calmly described as the natural course of things.
But these are the essence of monastic life. Very difficult, and not everyone can live up to it.
This was an important milestone for me. Such an understanding of spiritual life, as it turns out, is not as simple as just picking it up, doing something, and expecting results. That's not how it works at all. Spiritual life is more like threading a needle into a corner.
It's very difficult to get into this tiny ear because it's so small and there are no guarantees that you'll be able to get in. And with this understanding on the couch, threads and needles in hand, a second case was linked, which also left me astounded. I used to love going to the Dehiyar monastery because 20 years ago it had an absolutely unique monastic brotherhood. Admiration.
The old monk Grigori grew very fond of me, affection, warmth, and even suggested that I stay in the monastery. There were many Russian monks living there, and they were all completely unique and very interesting individuals, kind and gentle. Admiration, warmth. They captivated me. We translated together from ancient Greek. We discussed monastic life.
There were so many common topics we wanted to talk about. And one day I asked, "Who among the fathers in your monastery is the most spiritual?"
I was told, well, at least Father is at home now. And then I asked,
"Father Sisoy, why is he always in the bathroom? No matter how long I'm away, he's still there. I always see him in the bathroom."
what my friend stuttered and said. He actually wants to clean the bathroom himself. He has been cleaning bathrooms his whole life. Admiration. How does he clean the bathroom all by himself? Is there really no one to help him at the monastery? How many young novices does he have? Curiosity. Curious. To that my friend replied, "You know, when you become a monk, you will understand everything on your own." Such an answer surprised me.
And when I became a monk, I truly understood everything, because
he quickly found himself in the bathroom and then didn't come out of there for many years. These two instances, two certain landmarks. Monogamous life is like two poles. Let's take them into a coordinate system, in which we will reason. And now, I would like to remind you of one of the episodes. The books of the heavenly birds. When the old man Simon comes to the lavra to the elder Rael and begins to feed on his wisdom, then.
Once a man came to the elder and began to implore him, "Father, reveal to me, how did you achieve this state of grace? What did you do? Perhaps you engaged in wise prayers, or did you refrain from some other activity?" Admiration, curiosity.
Father Kirill would smile and say, "No, I didn't have the opportunity to engage in intelligent prayer or anything else. I simply read the Gospels."
such an answer, of course, satisfied Father Simon, after all. Father Cyril could not say anything else. Satisfied.
And in fact, they were talking about it at a secret reception, which we will tell you about. And by the end of the lecture, you will understand how you can obtain it or extract it from the Gospel. Translation. So Father Kirill didn't say anything specific. The elder Simon did not give him any precise instructions on how to find this secret technique. He simply said, "Search. Strive." When I lived on Mount Athos, I also had the opportunity to speak with the elder, unseriosity. Translation. I also came to the station in the same way to greet him. Darn it. I've been praying for a long time, but I'm not seeing any results. I feel like something is missing. Can you explain to me what I need and what else is missing for me to have an effect on my prayer? Frustration, sadness. With a hint of evasiveness, the old man began to respond. It was clear that he did not want to say it, but still, I pleaded with him, saying, "Tell me at any cost," reluctance, desperation. Then Starasov said I could tell you, but you wouldn't be able to handle it anyway.
I say no, Father, please, for God's sake. I will endure whatever it takes. Pleading. The old man then replied to me, one must learn to act impeccably. Seriousness.
Yes, I will act flawlessly, and what is this?
And to perform flawlessly means that you must find your place.
Yes, buddy, I have finally found my place. I have always dreamt of being a monk since childhood, and I feel that being a monk is my calling.
And what did the old man tell me? There are no callings, that's one thing. This is a completely different topic. Finding your place is a different matter because it has nothing to do with calling. Right now, you may think that your calling to monasticism will last 10 years, but you may change your mind, especially if you do not see results from your prayers. You may choose to leave the monastery altogether, or
Sinking to the point where nobody touches you and you touch no one, becoming a half-dead monk, immersing oneself in cynicism, and losing what you currently have, your calling in life. It is too broad a notion of one's place, acting flawlessly and finding your place. Serious.
this means that you must be serious focused in every situation. Every moment of my life is about finding that place. Reflective. And God creates a situation for us every second. So, this place is always different. Different. Determination. It needs to be felt, and we must learn to always feel it.
And then you will grasp what you need to make all the prayers you use start working. Hope. Annoyance. Then I said to the big shot, where exactly is my place? Can you tell me? And what did the old man reply? No, I can't tell you directly. So go find it yourself, you lazy bum.
And with time, you will find your way. It's been several years, and somehow I found my way to the old man.
На исповедь.
Did I tell you that you will find out more? I think I have found the place you're talking about. Curiosity. Where is he talking about?
I told him with exasperation, frustration. More about this place in the toilet. Select the toilet.
And suddenly my heart lit up. Yes, exactly. Right? How did you find it?
I don't even know how I ended up there. Life itself pushed me towards it, because I didn't resist anyone. I submitted to everyone and found myself in the bathroom. Confusion.
The old man is right. If you don't resist anyone, life itself will guide you to where you belong. And in this lies the secret of our lives. But now you understand the significance of this small gesture that you were missing.
Yes, buddy, it seems like I understand now.
In any place, in any situation, to always occupy the very last spot, the one that nobody needs. Sadness. Correctly responded Staris. And the criteria for whether this place is yours or the very last will always be precisely that it is needed by no one. And as soon as someone wants to take your place, you must immediately relinquish it, because it has ceased to be the last.
Here is the translation. These things are so profound that they may be incomprehensible and perhaps entirely unacceptable for worldly people.
However, they lead us to such a boundary of the transcendental, seriousness, curiosity. I don't feel like explaining them in more detail. I would just give such a definition.
What is the flawless deed of a monk?
This is the state where a monk's life is not opposed to the meaning of prayer, seriousness, contemplative. They are in opposition to the idea of prayer. It can only be in its own place, that is, in that very last place that no one needs. And the art of perfection is the art of finding that last place and occupying it. You know, I'm not expecting understanding because what I'm talking about, these things, they are beyond rationality, contradict logic and common sense.
Both. However, I am transmitting these threads from my heart to yours. If someone can grasp onto them, they will become a powerful guidepost that allows one to hold on in prayer, towards an important direction to maintain the right disposition of the soul.
And I would like to conclude with the aphorism of the elder. The mind is not a savior.
Certainty, conviction, yes. The mind is utterly useless here, as it can only confound about salvation. It is precisely passed on through some secret or living example or experience from heart to heart, and it is always supra-rational.
And she always remains a mystery. Now you understand why Sturetz Kirill found this secret technique in the Gospel and couldn't pass it on or describe it to another person. Translate. Because in angels and in literature, in any ascetic and in any spiritual literature, our perception mechanism simply harshly filters out everything related to this method in order to not let us destroy egoism. Because until we break through to this understanding, seriousness, introspection,
our egoism is in such an impregnable citadel where we can portray spiritual life. We can employ certain prayer techniques. We can dedicate many years to spiritual practices. All of this will be completely futile until this very citadel of egoism is touched, until we break through to our own authentic spiritual place.
The most forgotten place, unwanted by anyone. We delve deeper into these and other spiritual matters in our groups, on Bust and on Patreon, and we invite all those interested in spiritual life, spiritual practice, and following the teachings of the Athonite elders to join these groups. Serious.
Goodbye, take care. Formerly,